Do you often attract love bombers in your dating world, your dating experience? The whole love bombing phase is just taking over so many different scenarios of my clients' situations or people on my lives, on my feed, on my comments. Love bombers, love bombers, love bombers. What's going on? Why is everyone love bombing? Why am I always getting love bombed? Well, I did some research on this, and I want to share some insight, if you guys don't mind, about this. If you haven't seen part one of this video, go click on the video before this. Great insight. Subscribe to my channel, and that way you get notified for future videos of this topic and more. But love bombing, the love bombing society has grown, has progressed more now than ever. And there's actually understandable reasons. I'm not saying you have to like them. I'm not saying you should want them. I'm just saying they're understandable. Ever since the pandemic, we've become more of our own personal paranoid / protective secured way to how to be safe. And so there's research on this, that how Gen Zers and everyone else around that age, or even the next generation, have valued more about security, stability, health, and opportunities more than marriage. So there's a lot of casual dating. There's a lot of situationships. The image and value and the desire for marriage or kids, even through cultural or traditional or even religious beliefs, have just dwindled down, because it's more about, man, who knows what might happen again, another pandemic. So we need to stabilize some grounding here. I need to, I gotta make money. I gotta, help my family out. I gotta make sure we're all healthy. I gotta start this business. And there's more opportunities now with work and social media, that I see and love the ambition that the younger generation has to create such amazing stories, amazing successful stories I've heard. All these kids who make so much money monthly by just being consistent and persistent with what their content is. But unfortunately, since they now prioritize these strong things at a young age, stability, security, wealth, health, they don't really value intimacy. They don't really need quality relationships as much, because they're focused on something else, almost like a survival instinct. So they kind of block certain things. They kind of limit certain things, and they focus on this pursuit, this journey. It might be somewhat self-entitled, it might be somewhat egotistical, but they believe in what they can do with themselves, and they have access to their phone and their hands to do anything they want. And so they're focused. Great. Unfortunately, when they do all this, they become very guarded, fearful, and a little insecure about feelings, vulnerability, emotional compatibility, sensitive subjects. And so they're not as solid in the inside. They're not as, almost like a weak backbone when it comes to emotional sense. So there's a lot of confident, portrayed people, but are emotionally insecure because they don't understand the psychology of emotional intelligence. So people can be easily shown a lot of love, but they don't know how to back it up. They can show you amazing relationship moments and experiences, but don't understand the commitment, the sacrifice, the compromise, the understanding between two people of what makes a relationship work. Healthy relationships aren't always fun relationships. They're just not always dramatic relationships. Healthy relationships are peaceful relationships. Mature relationships are ones that they know each other to not let things get so toxic. But a lot of insecure people these days, like love bombers are insecure people. Not all love bombers are bad people. Some are. But all love bombers are insecure because they're afraid to open that door. They're afraid to open that gate. They're afraid to open Pandora's box of mommy issues, daddy issues. I'm not close with my son. My ex-wife hates me. I have trust issues, insecure, emotional, physical, mental, financial, whatever it is, there's something there. And so they attract insecure people because they know what it looks like. And you might not be insecure in other parts of your life, but you might be insecure in something you haven't valued or paid attention to. Let me read this little description here on my notes, and I want you to take notes on this because it's very, very helpful on this. And it's so true. So true. Being showered with grand gestures of love and admiration likely feels pretty flattering. And who doesn't want that? However, if you're feeling a bit uneasy about the quick pace of the relationship, of the words of endearment, of the intimacy, if the availability is too much, if the constant attention, the future planning, oof, I've heard that. If you're feeling a little uneasy about the quick pace of the relationship and the onslaught of affection, your intuition is likely telling you something important. Love bombing, or overwhelming someone with attention, material gifts, and compliments, is typically a manipulation technique to control the receiver of the affection. I love that. Let me say that again. Love bombing, or overwhelming someone with attention, material gifts, and compliments, is typically a manipulation technique to control the receiver of the affection. I'm going to control how you receive this. I'm going to control what you think of this. I'm going to control the dynamic, the situation, the position of how you're going to take this. Because I'm just going to give you so much to pay attention to that you don't pay attention to your gut. I'm going to give you so much to be entertained and loved and liked and flattered so you don't pay attention to your intuition. And something I've always told my clients about this, if your gut is off on something, follow and listen to your gut. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's kind of, I always find this very, very, this was very enlightening. If you're always in unhealthy relationships, you attract the asshole, you attract the love bomber, the narcissist. You always basically have unhealthy relationships. You hate all your exes. Your heart is failing you. I know that sounds hurtful. I know that sounds a little sensitive. I'm not saying your heart is bad, but your heart is failing you. It's great that you have a big heart. It's great that you love, but your heart is failing you because you're ignoring your gut. You're not listening to your intuition. You're not listening to your gut. Your gut tells you something, but your heart is just persuaded and sold and just believes and hopes and gullible and naiveness towards this romantic gesture. He can change, coach. He can change. If we can get back to how it was the first 2 months, I know he can get there. Your gut is telling you, no, something's off. I feel a little uneasy, a little sick, a little wheezy. Something is just off. Your heart is failing you because it's leading you to positions and places and people that there's something off. Listen to that. So if you find yourself always getting hurt in relationships or picking the wrong people, your heart is failing you by being too easily persuaded, too easily convinced. And that is a reflection of insecurity. Do you have enough integrity, respect? Do you have enough dignity? Do you understand what you're actually capable of? Do you realize you've been limiting your potentials and just always allowing someone to validate, reassure, or define your potentials? It's very important to understand this because you're not going to change love bombers. I'll hope you change what you attract in a love bomber. Like every time I talk to somebody on a coaching call, I'm saying, okay, I don't worry or control what he or she is doing as whoever it is you're dating. My focus is you. My focus is you. Because I'm not trying to change someone I don't know. This love bomber, this narcissist, this gold digger. I'm trying to change or help coach your mentality and why you like that, why you value that, why you waste your time with that. That's emotional intelligence. It's emotional maturity. It's almost like, when weird, stupid metaphor just popped in my head. It's almost like the same jokes aren't as funny in elementary as they are in high school. Same jokes in high school aren't as funny in college and high school, and adult to college. You kind of grow out of certain things that you find interested in. You liked certain movies. You liked cartoons. All right, I'm a little older. I don't know if I like cartoons. I kind of like, family comedy shows. All right, I'm a little older. Now I like more suspense and thriller. Now I'm a little older. Now I like, what I'm saying? Our entertainment, our receiving entertainment controller, we'll call it, like certain things to a certain point, but then we evolve and grow to actually want something different, something more educational, something more informative, something more insightful. We grow out of that. So I'm saying if you're still getting bought by the same cartoon, childish, joking behavior of dating of love bombers, then you need to kind of grow up, grow out of that. Learn the differences of a love bomber compared to someone who genuinely tries to pursue you. So I'm going to go on this topic right here on love bombers. And this is called mirroring and future faking are traits of love bombing. Mirroring and future faking. Let's break down the first word, mirroring. What do you think that means? Obviously, I'm going to be you. I'm going to be a cheerleader, a yes man, just someone who's just always, just wants to basically put everything under the rug, but don't cause any conflict, don't confront anything. I just want to keep things simple, nice, and casual. I don't care enough to actually argue with you. I don't care enough to actually disagree with. I just want to keep it nice and casual. Yeah, whatever you say, it's fine, cool, whatever. And they just keep on mirroring the situation of just keeping it light and fun. I'm not saying they need to be dramatic and confrontational, but they should speak their truth, speak their opinion. Mirroring is a surefire sign of love bombing, whether or not the manipulation is intended. The love bomber will carefully study the identity, interests, and needs of their desired partner and become what they believe will secure this catch. I'm going to repeat this part because I have so many scenarios. The love bomber will carefully study the identity, interests, and needs of their desired partner and become what they believed will secure the catch. The love bomber will become what you believe is the catch. So this is something I've always seen, unfortunately, more than a handful of times with client stories. In the beginning stages where someone is love bombing one of my clients and they know something's off, it's a little too aggressive, it's a little too uneasy, they're listening to their gut, they've listened to my videos, they're like, all right, no, hold on, I'm not being convinced for that. But they still want that person to change, so they basically start to help them by letting them know certain things. And I say, if you give a love bomber an assignment, if you give a love bomber a challenge, someone who's insecure with a big ego and competitive, they're going to prove to you they are that without actually wanting to be that. In the beginning stages of dating, before boyfriend, girlfriend, you don't need to actually educate, direct, or guide someone how to date you. Teach a man how to be a man, how to teach a woman how to be a girlfriend. Really? You're still watching those cartoons, aren't you? So when you tell someone who's love bombing you all the time and you have to educate them on how to date you before we even get to a boyfriend, girlfriend place, they're going to take that challenge. They're definitely going to want to enjoy understanding the desired needs of that partner and become what they believe is that catch. So always listen to your gut. If someone's coming off too fast, too aggressive, tell them to slow down. Tell them, hold on, too quickly. They should know as an adult, as experienced as they are, to now take a step back and then maybe have a different approach. But if you have to say, stop this, I want you to do this, be this, say this, and act like that, that sounds like an assignment. That sounds like work. That sounds like school. So now you're telling this adult how to stop and then tell them what to do. So they're going to become that. They're going to become that to fulfill your needs. They're going to become that to fulfill your desire, what you think I am, but I'm not. Compared to the actual natural, genuine approach saying, hey, that's a little too fast for me or too soon for this. Cool. That's boundaries, not love bombing, not denying we're expressing boundaries. But that adult, that stable person, that secure person will be like, yeah, I guess you're right. And they will reflect on the situation and then present something different. They'll alter it. They'll adapt. They'll know how to take the information and move forward with it compared to, oh, so you don't want to do this. I don't know what to do then. They're lost. And then now you need to put them and describe it and detail it. Tell them, okay, this is the map to date me for my heart. And if you do it, we're going to have sex. Love bomber goes, okay. Someone who's not a love bomber understands if there's a boundary being expressed, they know how to adapt to that. They should know how to adapt to that. They should want to know how to adapt to that. And that's why I said before, there's a very thin line between someone actually pursuing you and a love bomber. Because someone who's pursuing you for the right reasons has some level of healthy relationships. They understand the dynamic of a healthy love. If someone is coming on strong and mirroring you, praising your work, words of endearments, calling you love, babe, kiss emojis, heart emojis, after the second date, before you know someone's last name or color of eyes, making promises of the future, which leads into the second part of this topic, mirroring and future faking, making promises of the future. 2 dates in, what are you doing this Christmas? Hold on, whoa, Christmas. I like you. I like kissing you. I like hanging out. Christmas, 2 dates. Again, exciting gestures. You know, we should go out. We should go on a trip soon. And that's another thing I've seen so more uncommon now is that people are open to going on trips with random people based on a couple of dates. I've heard so many people, especially with social media DMs and slips in DMs here and there, flying someone over. I got you. And they go on these trips with strangers based on 1 date, maybe 2 dates. I've heard no dates, and they just meet up on a trip because they're just showing you a level of like, oh, wow, that sounds amazing. We're going to go on this trip together. Yeah, why would I not? Free trip. Why not? But you're now selling yourself short, saying you can't do that on your own. You can't afford that on your own. You can't do that whole trip with your own friends. You can't wait until you meet someone where you actually trust someone, respect someone to go on that same trip. You're easily persuaded that way. Good luck with that. I've seen a lot of those scenarios. And again, there's nothing wrong with those moments or those experiences if that's what you're looking for. I want fun, let's keep it where it is. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. If that's the mentality, go ahead, do it. I mean, I'm not judging any of that. But if you're looking for a relationship, if you're looking for a serious partner, and you're easily bought by those invitations, I don't want you to get bombed later, but sounds like it probably will happen. Talk of the future early in a relationship is another signature trait in love bombing where a brighter world full of promises is dangled in front of the victim to keep them hooked. This could look like the promise of secure finances. I've heard that. Children and marriage. I've heard that. Emotional care. I hear that all the time. Acts of service or furtherment of a career. Furtherment of a career. I've heard that too, abusing their power. Once the love bomber has gained your trust, it's easy for these promises to feel realistic and close to becoming your reality. But it never happens. Someone's trying to use their power, position, their effect, their control over you. It's not genuine with their love. It's manipulation. It's a tactic. I want to hear your comments of this topic because I've heard too many clients in a situation when they first come to me getting love bombed and they get discouraged thinking the dating world sucks. All the men are assholes. All the women are this. And I'm like, no, they're not. There's actually a lot of great men out there. There's a lot of great women out there. They actually want to be in a relationship or they actually want marriage, but they're hard to find because most people are love bombing because most people are insecure and most people are scared. It's almost to a point where someone who gets love bombed eventually loves bomb someone else next. So they don't have to be open and vulnerable again. It's a crazy effect I see. If you find yourself in this position, send me a message. We're going to have a coaching call. Looking forward to it, and I'll tell you how it is, because it's all about you holding yourself accountable in the situation. Don't give them the power. I want you to learn about this. Send me a message. My name is Coach Andres, and thank you very much.